The Nintendo 64 is one of my favorite consoles of all time. It had a forward-thinking controller that people either think is one of the greatest of all time or can't seem to figure out how to hold it. It also had cutting-edge 3D graphics with some games aging better than others. But one thing's for sure, it was the fun machine. The list of titles on the console may not be huge, but the ones that hit really, really, really hard, and are still considered masterpieces to this very day, nearly 30 years later. But there are some games that aren't talked about too often that in fact were bangers. Today I wanted to discuss a bit of my old N64 collection history and go over some of these random games I had growing up. Some may be a little familiar to you, and some you may have never heard of. Regardless, I hope you get a dose of nostalgia or the urge to play some of these titles if you haven't before. Now let's take a brief look at some weird games I loved growing up on the Nintendo 64, starting with Paperboy. A follow-up to the classic arcade game Paperboy, this brought the newspaper delivery business into the world of 3D. The thing I love about this game is just how wacky it is. While the premise of delivering newspapers to people's houses could be boring, they make it so you can hunt for secrets by hitting specific people, animals, or objects with your newspapers, which are fun to chuck and aim everywhere. You can also find random power-ups for your bike, which will do things like launch you high into the air or rocket boost super fast. The level design is also very open, and you can navigate virtually anywhere, as long as you're playing on the right difficulty. And yes, it has boss fights. They're sort of a mixed bag, but these include things like a Frankenstein monster. The game is just over the top in wackiness to make up for its simple concept, and it plays sort of like one of those BMX games back in the day. There's even a Halloween-themed town with monsters. I just found I had a lot of fun growing up after it found its way into my collection. Tonic Trouble. Essentially functioning as a 3D Rayman prototype by Ubisoft, this game lives unnecessarily rent-free in my head. We follow Ed, a custodian on a space station who accidentally drops a tonic onto planet Earth that a Viking named Grog drinks, and gains powers that help him conquer the planet, while simultaneously things around him begin to mutate like fruits and vegetables. It's up to Ed to get the tonic back and stop the Viking to return Earth to normal. The gameplay is similar to Rayman. It's a 3D platformer, though not quite the same. Ed focuses more on gadgets and close-up melee fights with his stick weapon. This game just oozes style, and it's a cool cross between sci-fi and a spy game. Plus, the character designs are just so iconic. This is one, like several on this list, I actually acquired from a rental store that was closing, and boy was I glad I did. It's just bizarre and super fun. It's also made me question every piece of popcorn I eat to see if I become super and really buff after. Robotron 64, a twin-stick shooter without the second stick. This is another midway banger on the console. In fact, sort of a cool connection is the main protagonist looks just like the scientist from Paperboy. The plot is you're a mutant scientist trapped in another dimension trying to save the last of humanity from evil robots. You move around on a flat surface and shoot lasers with the C buttons. Depending which button you press, it shoots in that direction. This game was based on an arcade game, Robotron 2084. This is just a very fun arcade-like experience. The graphics are simple, but they made it super trippy looking. The gameplay loop is awesome, and I highly recommend anyone to try it. But keep in mind, you will get addicted. Charlie Blast's Territory. Charlie Blast's Territory is a weird one, even among this list. It actually was a PlayStation title by Kemco called The Bombing Islands. For some reason, they took this game and re-released it on the N64, changing the plot to Charlie being a demolitions expert clearing 6 rivers that have been dammed up by the evil king of industry. You basically move around limited spaces and platforms trying to make sure the red detonator is connected to all the bombs on the level. Once you have them lined up or connected in some way, you hit the detonator and boom! You destroy the level. It's just such a different vibe of a game, and I found myself enjoying the puzzle solving as a kid. It starts off really easy, but it gets complex really quick. Just go spend some time trying this game and tell me you didn't enjoy it at least a little. Bomberman Hero. This was my preference of Bomberman as a kid. Most people would know the Bomberman 64 entries. Well, this is nothing like those. This was still developed by Hudson Soft, but it's a 3D platformer with Bomberman as the main character. The music in this game is so nostalgic to me, and the power-ups kept me wanting to play. The intro was enough to get anyone hyped too. The plot is that Primus Star is attacked by the evil Garradin Empire. We have to recover important intel and save Princess Million. The main enemy is Nitros, who has been brainwashed by a familiar Bomberman character for those who are a fan of the series. I won't spoil it, but there is fun to be had in this one. Go play it for some epic bomb-throwing action with a bunch of gameplay variety. All of the gadgets were super entertaining, and every level had you questioning what was going to happen next. Space Station Silicon Valley. This mother-grabbing game, developed by DMA Design. The plot is the space station Silicon Valley is launched in the year 2001, filled to the brim with robotic animals. Right after its launch, it disappears, only to reappear 1,000 years later. Dan, Danger, and Evo are sent to investigate. They crash land on the station, and Evo is reduced to his microchip. He can then crawl around like a spider and take control over all the robotic animals. Then there's a whole evil brain controlling the station and crashing it into Earth type deal. But robotic freaking animals. Ever wonder what you get when you cross a bottle rocket with a squirrel? No? Well, let me tell you. Pure fun. The game is packed to the brim with some of the wackiest ideas in gameplay ever. Every single level will have you hunting down for that new animal you'd never seen. It's fantastic, and there's nothing like it these days. This is a gem everyone and their mother need to try. Glover. This is arguably probably the most popular game on the list, even getting a re-release on modern hardware not that long ago. It was developed by Interactive Studios and published by Hasbro. Back in the day, Glover was bizarre. You play as the good glove of the wizard who rules the land from his crystal castle. One day, the wizard accidentally mixed something wrong and boom, it exploded and turned him into a statue. Glover gets shot out the window and his counterpart, Glovo, falls into the magic cauldron and it mutates him into the evil Cross-Stitch. The crystals that apparently make the land wonderful all got shaken off by the explosion, and Glover saves them before they get destroyed by turning them into balls. We need to recover them and restore the land to the way it was, but Cross-Stitch has other plans. The game is strange because while it's sort of a platformer, the goal is to roll and carry the balls, aka crystals, to the end of the stage. You can actually change the crystal or ball into different forms, and they have different traits depending. It's definitely worth a try. Chameleon Twist. This game was developed by Japan System Supply. It's a retelling of Alice in Wonderland in a way. We are a chameleon who is living a normal life doing normal chameleon things until a rabbit comes by for a very important date and enters into a portal in the ground. We follow, and the normal chameleon turns humanoid. Now we're just trying to navigate back to our home world. The game is a platformer, but focuses on utilizing your tongue in various ways. It's so satisfying to press B and maneuver the tongue around various ways, whether attaching to a post and spinning around or collecting as many enemies as possible to fill those chubby cheeks. This game is another bizarre entry on the console. Go play it. It's one of the few that also managed to get a sequel. Buck Bumble. Some of you may not have played Buck Bumble, but I bet many of you can remember this song. Developed by Argonaut Software and published by Ubisoft, we follow Buck Bumble, who is a cybernetically enhanced bee, part of the resistance fighting against the evil Herd army. The Herd developed from mutated insects due to a chemical spill in London. They want to take over the garden and eventually the world, and only one hero can stop them. The game is a third-person shooter, but the catch is you're a bee and you can fly. It's got action and the gameplay is pretty fun, but more importantly, the multiplayer was Rocket League before Rocket League. Snowboard Kids. Capping out my list is one of my favorites. Developed by Racdim and published by Atlas, Snowboard Kids is essentially Mario Kart, but with snowboarding. It's a freaking blast. It's filled with fantastic music, and the whole snowboarding gameplay is pretty solid. It's a unique racer for the time, going downhill as fast as we can, and then hitting a checkpoint, we ride the lift back up to a new area. The characters are designed like crosses between Captain Olimar and an anime protagonist. It's just so much fun and a great local multiplayer experience. Have you played any of the games I mentioned? Did you have any of them growing up? What are some more obscure games that you like on the console? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe so you don't miss a future upload. Until next time, have a good one.
Jiggy, look back!